Good morning, Liverpool fans, and welcome back to Talking Reds. Now, you've probably not seen my face around here on the morning show yet. So, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Ryan. I am one of the hosts and guests here on Talking Reds in support with the rest of the lads and Damo. So, I would really appreciate it if you could drop your name, well, not drop your name, but drop your introductions into the comments and let me know who you are, what you want to talk about, and yeah, hopefully you'll get to know me more a little bit through this stream as well. So we're going to start off with a little bit of news that's come out this morning, which is images of Hugo Ekitike landing in Liverpool for his medical. So I believe his flight landed in Chester, where there is a private, like a private plane landing strip, making his way over now to Liverpool for his medical, which is set to be completed today, with a 6-year deal was being reported, and then fly over to Asia to join the rest of the squad for the tour on Wednesday evening. So that is Hugo Ekitike landing in Liverpool now, doing his medical on after this signing of Hugo Ekitike. Fabrizio Romano and others have mentioned that Liverpool are not done yet, and will be looking to add more additions to the team, which would be absolutely brilliant. And that's what we're going to talk about this morning, as well as the news surrounding Luis Diaz from last night. As the journalist who broke the news of him coming to Liverpool in the first place is also saying that Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich is a concrete possibility and close, with him being the 18th best paid player in Liverpool, which, if that's the case, is mental for someone of Diaz's talents. Daniel kicks us off with, do you think we get the announcement today? I'm not too sure it'll be today. I could imagine that there will be media and everything done this morning around his medical, do the videos, and then the flight is that long to Asia where the boys are staying. The Wednesday morning / afternoon is when you will get the load out of, of the announcement and all the social media stuff that comes with it. I love that kind of stuff. I love a little signing day vlog and everything like that. It gets me so excited. So yeah, Luis Diaz, concrete possibility for Bayern Munich. As we know, Bayern Munich are the team that have shown the most interest so far. I can imagine Barcelona were probably still interested, but can offer nowhere near as much as Bayern Munich can, hence why they've gone for Marcus Rashford. But the situation intrigues me, as there seems to be two different kind of reporting stages on this Luis Diaz situation. So you have this area of, well, it's close, So, for example, the journalist who's reporting the news last night is it's close to Bayern Munich, and the player wants out, and he's willing to move. But then the Liverpool journalists are then saying, well, Liverpool have got a price, and unless someone reaches that price, which is quite high, then we don't see him leaving. But then there's all this reporting around Rodrygo as well, and Rodrygo being the Diaz replacement. I just think there's a little bit of a game being played by Liverpool, um, at the moment regarding Luis Diaz to try and get the maximise the amount of money, but also try and maybe bring the Saudi Arabian clubs in. Liverpool know Bayern Munich have money. Bayern Munich have got enough money to pay for Luis Diaz. And more importantly, we know that they are desperate for him after the injury to Jamal Musiala. So, yeah. Hi, everyone in chat. How are you? Like, comment, share, subscribe. Welcome to Liverpool, Hugo Ekitike. You're intelligent, hardworking, knowledgeable, and know everything about Liverpool FC. First of all, Spirit of LFC fans, I really, really appreciate that, as I'm sure the rest of the lads do at Talking Reds. We try and bring you the best streams that we can, and he's bang on. Make sure you like this live. We'll get it out to more people, and subscribe, because we are so close to 1,000 subscribers, which would be insane. We have here. Hi, mate. Do you think how the front three will be for the Bournemouth game? Well, I mean, it's so early to predict that, and we'll maybe talk about that a little bit later in the show. And we'll all try and have a little guess at what it could be. But Luis Diaz, there is more meetings expected to come. between Liverpool and Bayern Munich for the player. I believe that Bayern Munich are trying to do it on obviously a cheaper price than what Liverpool are wanting to do. That's naturally negotiations. We have a high price, they have a low price. You try and meet somewhere in the middle. However, I don't think Liverpool have got any wiggle room for this one. If Rodrygo is the replacement and the cost of him is reported to be around about the 90 million euro mark, then that would make so much sense in why Liverpool are holding out for 90 to 100 million euros for Luis Diaz, which is around 65 to 70 million pounds, more leaning towards 80 million. I don't see Bayern Munich coughing up the money. I really, really don't. Especially at the moment, if it gets later on in the window, then maybe the pressure's piled on if they've not found a replacement and they're going into the season with Leroy Sané and Serge Gnabry as their wingers with Elise. But they're desperate for a left winger, and especially someone who can go and play in sort of the number 10 position as well, and obviously deputise around the striker position. Luis Diaz fits the bill. He ticks all the boxes to replace Jamal Musiala, whilst also, when Musiala comes back, strengthening Bayern Munich, offering decent wages, what he wants. For me, it just makes so much sense for Bayern Munich, and Liverpool know that. So Liverpool are going to hold out for that super amount of money that they require for the player. And at the end of the day, we hold all the cards at the moment, unless Luis Diaz does a similar situation to what we're hoping Alexander Isak does and hands in a transfer request. Listen, pay up Bayern Munich, or he's not yours. It's as simple as that. There was also a little bit of talk about Marc Guehi yesterday. Liverpool remain favourites for the player. Tottenham Hotspur are still interested and are considering bidding again. David Ornstein mentioned last night that it feels as though Liverpool are in the driving seat for that signing. Marc Guehi has no interest of signing a new deal for Crystal Palace. And the player's happy to leave this summer or leave next summer. So again, we'll have to see on that one. Spirit of LFC fans says, which winger are Liverpool going to buy? I think their first choice is Rodrygo, as has been widely reported, but I also think the alternatives aren't too bad. I'm a big fan of Anthony Gordon. I would be more comfortable if it was Anthony Gordon coming in as well as Isak, which is probably impossible. But Liverpool's first choice, I believe, and journalists do as well, is Rodrygo. So yeah. CJ says, I don't think we'll sign a left winger. Well, we definitely won't sign a new left winger unless Luis Diaz leaves. So we'll have to, I think we'll have to let that one play out first. Did anyone see the talk last night about Alexander Isak and a meeting today? Did anyone see that? Because I have a theory. All right, so listen to my theory. Yeah, before you start flooding the comments, just listen to my theory. Let me know if you agree with it. Liverpool journalists have been using some interesting phrases and words in articles recently about Alexander Isak and the reporting around it. A lot of the talk has been Liverpool's interest remains, may look at future windows. A move for him isn't impossible, but it's also not likely at this stage. Sort of things like that. I have a theory, and it goes along with what Ekitike put out last night. The journalists are sat on an article and news about Liverpool bidding for Alexander Isak. Now, we've always been told that Liverpool would only bid for Alexander Isak if they thought there was a genuine opening to get the player. I think journalists are sat on the story and the headline and the breaking news of Liverpool submit their first bid for Alexander Isak in the region of 120 million. What is required, in my opinion, is this meeting from Newcastle with Alexander Isak to establish just how much his head has been turned. And the second that Liverpool get that get that okay from Newcastle, let's put it out there, let's talk, let's do it public, then I think it'll come out. And I think it all centers around that meeting that's supposedly put on today. That's just my theory. Do you agree with it? Do you not agree with it? That's just my theory. Forever LFC says Isak has always been a #1 target. Never say never. Liverpool are not moving on from this player 100%. Whether it's this summer, January, next summer, if there is a possibility to get Alexander Isak and we have a space in the squad for him, then Liverpool are going for him 100 million %. Spirit of LFC fans says, where is Szoboszlai going to play? I think this season he plays a little bit deeper. I suspect he'll take up a similar role to what he does in the Hungary midfield, where if we need him to play further up, he'll play further up. If we need him deeper, he'll play deeper. I mean, he even filled in at right back against Stoke, but I wouldn't read too much into that. Daniel says, imagine hearing this at Anfield. Isak goal, Liverpool. Liverpool lead 4-0 against Manchester United. Do you know what would be even funnier? And I'm only coming for them because they've come for me recently. Second game of the season. It's 0-0. We're into the last 15 minutes. Jeremy Frimpong whips a ball in. And then Alexander Isak comes in at the back post to bang a header past Nick Pope because they're definitely not signing a new keeper. And Liverpool beat Newcastle at St James's Park 1-0. And the goal scorer is Alexander Isak. Now that would be peak football. That would be absolutely peak football. Damos says, what is everyone's thoughts on Luis Diaz? Does he leave, and what's the truth about his wages? What do we think? Does he leave? I know there's a few people that were saying that he doesn't. Tony Steele says, my Liverpool are moving differently. They sure are. They really, really are. Daniel says, don't say it. What do we think about the Diaz situation? I know obviously we've touched on it at the start, but what I'm not personally, I am not believing the reports around his wages. When he signed a deal for Liverpool, the understanding was that every season that goes on, his wage packet goes up. And then there's bonuses, performance bonuses, trophy bonuses, goals and assist bonuses, etc., attached to it. I think maybe his baseline package, his starting package, is maybe the 18th best in the Liverpool squad. But obviously since then there's been renewals as well. So Virgil van Dijk, Mohamed Salah have obviously got bigger deals, etc. There is not a chance he's on that 55k a week, by the way, that people say. Absolutely not a chance. Tony Steele says Diaz is gone. Do we think Bayern Munich pay up, though? Do we really think Bayern Munich pay up? I'm not too sure on that one, guys. I'm not too sure on Newcastle paying, not Newcastle, sorry, on Bayern Munich paying up for Luis Diaz. My belief is that that Liverpool are holding on to the player and are waiting for Saudi Arabia, because at the end of the day we're in no rush as well. If Rodrygo is the #1 target, and it is a case of we're waiting on Rodrygo and this deal with this communication with Real Madrid and Xabi Alonso, there's no rush for Liverpool to sell, because right now our first choice target is unattainable, and the options outside of Luis Diaz, Anthony Gordon, Malik Fofana are probably achievable in windows to come, and we've still got 2 years left of Luis Diaz. So I think there's a chance that we're waiting for Saudi Arabia to come in. He's on around 125k a week. I would suggest he's on around that. After the improved deals every season and bonuses and sponsorships and things like that, he's definitely on around that. Nowhere near the 155. CJ says, I even think if Lucho goes, we don't sign a left winger. So how come you don't think we sign a left winger? What is it that's putting you off us signing a left winger? For Ever LFC, Diaz will leave. I'm really worried about Konate. If Real Madrid want him, I hope it's sorted soon because we need cover ASAP. We'll talk about Konate in a little bit in a sec, and then in a future stream we'll try and go a little bit more in depth into that because I have a theory of what's going on there. And it has a lot to do with Richard Hughes. And I suspect the Trent situation and the Konate situation is something we should get used to whilst Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes are running Liverpool Football Club. Daniel says, if Lucho goes, we 100% bid for Isak. If the reporting is true, we only bid for Alexander Isak if we think there is a genuine opportunity to sign a player. Only because we have Ekitike, Gakpo, Szoboszlai, Wirtz, Engamoa, they can all play on the left. Well, Ekitike can, but that would then leave us with no striker. Gakpo is obviously the left winger at the moment. Szoboszlai has only played on the left wing for Red Bull and has never really played it for Liverpool. I would be shocked if you saw him there. Wirtz can play off the left, but as we've seen in pre-season so far and the reports, the idea is to play him in the 10, and then Engamoa will stay with the under-21s, under-18s for next season 100% because he's still only 16, about to turn 17. So Engamoa is not an option for this season for the consistency of what we need. You know, obviously with how many minutes Luis Diaz plays. It's been widely reported that Liverpool will go for a left winger if Lucho leaves. I agree. I think it's an absolute must. So I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if Liverpool got rid of Luis Diaz and then didn't bring in a left winger. Spirit of LFC fans, RIP Jota and Andre, as always. Forever our number 20 and forever in our hearts. Daniel says Ekitike can play on the left. He can, but guys, what you have to understand is Liverpool want fluidity. All right, Arne Slot wants fluidity with his attackers, but it's not fluidity in the sense of, well, you can save us a couple of quid there because you can play there, or well, that saves us signing that player because he can do a job. Fluidity, it's about being able to pop up in different areas of the pitch and influence the game. It's not about saving money and penny pinching. Not at all. The report from The Athletic this morning was that Liverpool and Arne Slot want 2 players in every position who can compete to start. Having Szoboszlai as the left winger with Cody Gakpo takes him out of midfield, but also isn't a competition to start over Cody Gakpo. This idea, and I understand it because we've all been sort of brainwashed into it through recent windows where we believe, well, we can't get in because we've got him in the squad who saves us a couple of quid. It's not like that anymore, guys. It's not like that. Liverpool are moving different in the modern times. We are moving mad. The idea is to have 2 players who can start in every single position because we are playing 60 to 70 games a season. Yeah? We need 2 squads. Arne Slot is trying to build 2 separate teams, 1 team and 2 team, and they can both compete in the Premier League. They both compete in the Champions League. And then team 3 and 4 with a little bit of youngsters and adaptation, they take the FA Cup and the League Cup. Liverpool want to win it all. Arne Slot, Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, they're not here to tickle your ass. They're here to win everything. Yeah, and having players, is it square pegs in round holes and stuff like that? That doesn't make no sense. We don't move like that anymore. We're not moving like that anymore. It just, honestly, for me, it just wouldn't happen. It's 2 players in every position. Isak and Ekitike is a genuine possibility. Luis Diaz leaving, Rodrygo and Gakpo, it's a genuine possibility. Daniel says, I mean, if you have Isak and Ekitike, who are you starting? Come on. Same as I just said, I really don't think it matters. It's not about who starts. It's about building a squad. If you look at Newcastle's situation, right? So take Newcastle's situation for an example. So a Newcastle fan put out their starting 11 yesterday, and their starting 11 looks really, really strong. Their squad behind that is so poor. Is so poor. Is their starting 11 going to be able to play Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday? Not a chance. It's not a chance that they're going to be able to do that. And if they do that, then somewhere someone is sacrificing it. Yeah, that someone's going to get injured. It's either going to be the Premier League form dips or the Champions League form dips. Liverpool aren't after that. Liverpool are wanting to win both Premier League and Champions League for the foreseeable future. Yeah, so it's not about who starts. It's about, well, it doesn't matter who starts because like it's a strong ass team who's coming for the win. You know that's the idea. It's a super team. It is a super team. Damos is there. Good morning, everyone. Hit that like and subscribe if you are new. We are live every day, every morning and evening. Damn right we are. The support has been incredible recently. Some of the numbers from you guys on these streams has been absolute mind blowing for us guys. You know, we're so close now to 1,000 subscribers. The channel is just growing and growing and growing in strength. We're bringing new people to the channel like myself and others, new content, new streams, new ideas. Definitely one of the places to be this in the future for Liverpool content. FSG know how big the money is from the Champions League, and they know they can't afford to be left behind and miss out on the Champions League money. Completely right, Steve or Stefan. 100%. FSG, I think, have got a newfound love and desire for football. Not because they support Liverpool, by the way, just because of the pure finances behind it right now. I can tell you right now, they've got their eyes on that Club World Cup. I wouldn't want us competing in it, as I think it's detrimental to your season. But FSG will have one eye on that Club World Cup. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. So, I want to talk a little bit more about Hugo Ekitike, as it is Hugo Ekitike Day. If you've not seen the images, I suggest you go and pop on to Twitter after the stream and have a little look. Fabrizio Romano has put some up in all the LFC aggregator accounts. Hugo landed in Chester around about 45 minutes to an hour ago. He's on his way to Liverpool for his medical, all the media duties, sign his 6-year contract, fly out to the tour, and he'll officially be a Liverpool player. How excited are we, guys? How excited are we for Hugo Ekitike to join the Reds? Because me, personally, I am over the moon. If you've been on any of my previous streams with Talking Reds or over on my channel, you will know I am a huge fan of Hugo Boss. 100. There was a scout who watched him recently, and if you saw any of the reporting last night from David Ornstein, his Hugo Ekitike himself models his game around carrying Benzema, and a scout said he loves to create for others who love to create for him. And that's the thing that gets me so excited about Hugo Ekitike. Not only will he provide goals himself through the service of Diaz, Gakpo, Wirtz, Salah, Rodrygo, obviously, if he came in, McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Frimpong, Kirkes, Bradley. Not only will he bag absolute tons from that, but he brings others into play and makes the players around him better. Imagine how effective Mohamed Salah, Florian Wirtz, and Cody Gakpo, or Rodrygo, or Diaz could be with a striker who, when you play it into, the ball comes back into key areas. His chance creation is one of the best in Europe for strikers under 25. Yeah, he is a unbelievable signing, and as Daniel says it there, he feels like Bobby Firmino round two. He's got all the tech. He's got all the link-up play. He's a super intelligent player. He's got pace. He's got power. Let rival fans tell you it's overrated. Even let your own fan base, you know, the people in your own fan base say that I don't think we should do this deal. I'm telling you right now, he's going to surprise so many next season. He's going to be class. Good morning, MM. How are we? Paul says Hugo Ekitike is at Liverpool training ground now. He got there just before, right? So he has now arrived, has he, at the training ground? That's brilliant. And he is. Hello, Beefy. How are we, my mate? You're in every stream, you Beefy. I see you everywhere. You've been in my late night ones, you know, in the morning one. Absolutely class, mate. Really appreciate the support. Really appreciate the support from all you guys. It's been incredible these last like week or so since I've joined. I knew Talking Reds was on the up, and Damo's a friend of mine, but recently, you guys have been absolutely smashing it. We've got 52 of you in here right now, which is incredible. So please hit that like and let's get that get that stream going out to more people. Daniel says, so medical passed. I'd imagine he's doing the training ground part of the medical now, Dan. So usually the way that it happens is they'll do the stuff for like media and social media and signing photos and all that, and then they'll have their medical training ground tests. Then they'll go to the hospital and do their hospital tests. So that's like your heart. So I know the doctor who does the heart, sort of like all the heart stuff on Liverpool players and new signings. He's actually in the Florian Wirtz signing vlog. If you watch the Florian Wirtz signing vlog, he's in there and he's doing all the heart tests on Flo. But yeah, bloke called Rob, sound guy, top guy. Damn right. W's in the chat for Hugo Boss. Have you seen what he's wearing, by the way, to his signing day? I didn't realize how cool he was. He's so stylish. Dress is sick. Beefy gets about. Oof, I won't let that be. I won't let that be known, Beefy. Announcement of Ekitike will probably be Thursday, Friday. He will join up with the squad after that. I believe they must have been reported that he is set to join the squad on Wednesday evening, so Wednesday evening our time. So I suspect they'll try and announce something. Maybe not all of the social media rollout, but I suspect they'll announce something tomorrow. If that is the case, that he's joining the squad on Wednesday. But yeah, super exciting signing. Liverpool have their striker position sorted. Now it's just about going and finding, the rotational player to him. Chin says, how are you doing? I am doing great, my mate. It's been a really enjoyable morning so far on the stream. And we've had some Hugo Ekitike content, which has been class. How are you doing, my friend? Are you okay? As Daniel says, W's in the chat for Hugo Boss. Why did I do that? Damo better not clip that up and put that on TikTok. Why did I do that? I'm a grown man. I'm 30 next year. Any idea of when Isak will arrive? I think. Yeah, I've just got the text then. He's getting a train. He's getting a train down to Liverpool. He's just flew back. He's in Newcastle. He's getting a train down to Blackpool first, actually, to meet Arne Slot on the roller coasters. And then he's over to Liverpool tomorrow, I believe. I think they're staying over in a travel lodge together. Separate rooms, though. Separate rooms. We're going to run out of chairs for this announcement. Oh, we're just gonna have the front row of the main stand. We're gonna have to take that out and put that into the studio to get these photos. There'll be too many players. Honestly, I need to be careful. I need to be careful on this. Damo knows what he's doing. Hashtag free Isaac. Imagine we got that trending on Twitter. Oh my god. Newcastle fans have been coming for us left, right, and centre. You would have an absolute what's it called? Army of them, I suppose. Isak on his way to London for his medical. Right, so this would make perfect sense. So if he's been at the training ground this morning, he'll have done his signing photos, a little bit of a vlog, or some content anyway, and then done his medical test that we do. Then we have offices and doctors in London, so he'll do his medical there so that he can get straight on the plane and fly over to the tour. So that makes a lot of sense. Newcastle and Liverpool in Asia for tour. Isaac Deal may still be getting worked on whilst they're there. Yeah, I saw no, I saw today. I don't know if it's true. Maybe you guys could find it on social media whilst I'm streaming, but I saw some stuff around that Isak hasn't been training. That Eddie Howe's left him out of training. Um, Leaving him out of games and leaving him out of training is definitely not a good sign. I mean, Eddie Howe at the moment, I feel really sorry for. He's having to build the team fitness wise, get them ready tactical wise for the season, whilst also playing director of football, having no money to spend, and literally finding it impossible to get deals over the line, whilst his number one player wants out, and Liverpool are only offensive. Like Eddie Howe, mate, he's in a really, really tough position right now. I'm glad it's him and not me anyway. How would he's that will start the trend? Be like Milos Kirkes' dad when he was doing the podcast. He was like, "Yeah, we're going Liverpool." That was just the maddest thing, by the way. A player's dad. I know he doubles up as his agent a little bit, but the player's dad was literally going on podcasts and saying, like, announcing his player's next move before it even happened. Absolutely mental. says, yeah, looks like other players are upset with Isak too. Perfect. I can imagine they're probably upset at the thought of losing Alexander Isak, as obviously they want to try and build a team that can fight for the Champions League and Premier League. But also as a player, you're going to understand that situation. You know, it's rare that a club of Liverpool's size and stature in on you know on the project that we are on and the trajectory that we're going come knocking for you. And with the greatest of respects, it's the food chain. You know, it's the football food chain. Liverpool are a bigger, more successful, more attractive club than Newcastle. The same way that we're probably in that food chain, just slightly below Real Madrid and probably Barcelona. So yeah, you know, it's just part and parcel of it. You know, big fish eat little fish. Isak's dad, yeah, you know, Isak loves Newcastle, but give us Liverpool sound. I think a lot of people have been saying right that Alexander Isak won't hand in a transfer request, and I agree. I agree. I don't think he will, but I can see his agent really going on the offensive these next couple of weeks if Newcastle are just showing no compromise to even talk about a deal. Beefy says, "I missed the beginning story. Sorry, we missed the beginning. Sorry, what's happening with Diaz?" So, just to go back to it briefly, Papa Sia, I think is the journalist who first announced Liverpool signing Luis Diaz, has reported that a deal to Bayern Munich is looking like it's close, or it's a concrete possibility or something like that. And Diaz is the 18th best paid player in Liverpool. He said it's not a shot at the club, it's not a fire at the club. Just telling you, just spitting facts. And we just spoke a little bit about, is that true? Where do we see it? A lot of people disagreed with the fact that he'd be on 55k a week. It was widely reported when he first signed the deal that his contract would increase in wage size every season. So that 55k that was reported he started on, he's way above that now. And then we also was just going over a little bit of, do we think Bayern Munich are actually going to stump up the money? Right now, Liverpool's number one target in Rodrygo has not signaled, any indication of moving yet. With crunch talks to come for Real Madrid, so Liverpool right now are in no need or of any desperate, situation to sell Luis Diaz until we got the all clear from Rodrygo. Then I can see us, being a little bit more lenient on the price. But right now, Liverpool have got a fee that they want, and you better come and pay it. Simple as that. Diaz has better stats than Rodrygo and Fofana. I don't want the guy to go, says Derek. If we sign, he's out the promo and he's including that as a. Imagine. Sorry, whilst I was reading that, I got the image in my head. Do you remember the Salah one where for weeks on Twitter it was announced Salah, and then it was Salah with the phone and it was announced Salah. Imagine Alexander Isak just like panning up to the camera and being like, "I'm not for sale." Oh, that'd be great. Oh, it'd be so good. Sod you, Newcastle fans. The beginning of the Isak thing was Amanda Stavley offering him a new contract with a pay rise, and then the new ownership refused to honour it. I don't think it was the new ownership. I think it was the Paul Mitchell, when he come in as the director of football, said you've already got 3 years left, so we won't be talking about that. Which has obviously upset Isak and his agent. Completely makes sense. Smash those likes, guys. Let's get the stream boosted. Let's get it out there. Let's get new people. Let's build the community of Talking Reds. If you are new here and you're enjoying it, then please consider liking and subscribing to us. Obviously, feel free to comment and share as well. All the support goes a million miles. You would not believe, how much it makes our day better when we see you guys supporting our hard work. So yeah, really appreciate that. That fan said, you couldn't buy his left foot for 125 mil. I'd want a lot less for his left foot. He's better on his right. So let's have a little recap of what we've been over so far. Luis Diaz, concrete possibility to Bayern Munich. Liverpool have set a price. Are Bayern willing to pay it? Tottenham Hotspur remain interested in Marc Guehi, but Liverpool are leading the front on that one. Alexander Isak is set for crunch talks with Newcastle, and Eddie Howe is reported. Liverpool are waiting to hear the conclusion before they go in and make any approach for the player. Rodrygo remains Liverpool's #1 target if Luis Diaz leaves. Federico Chiesa is of interest from Atalanta and are willing to pay 12 million euros for the player, so basically getting back what we paid for him. That is the main crunch of it all. One thing I would like to talk about is The Athletic reported, well, first of all, Fabrizio Romano reported this morning on his Instagram that once Liverpool are done with Hugo Ekitike, there's more signings coming very soon. But one thing I want to talk about is The Athletic. Now, The Athletic did a report where they mentioned that Arne Slot, it was about Marc Guehi originally, but then went on to say that Arne Slot and Richard Hughes want 2 players in every position who can compete for a starting spot, basically in the Premier League, the Champions League, League Cup, FA Cup. As I was doing a stream myself on my TikTok this morning, and there was a lot of debate and a lot of people saying, similar to what CJ was mentioning before, of, well, I don't see us signing Alexander Isak because we've got Ekitike, and I don't see us signing Rodrygo because we've got Wirtz who can play left wing and things like this. And then I just want you to link back and think about that report of that. It's it's a case of we want 2 players. We want a starting striker and another starting striker. We want a starting left winger and another starting left winger. No start and backup. We want both. Check Rodrigo's creation stats. They are off the charts. I was dubious too, but once you see those stats of how much he creates for their team, you can see why you want him. You guys will know if you've been in any of my streams with Talking Red so far or on my channel that I am a huge fan of Rodrygo. And I'm talking to the point of where I would get as excited signing Rodrygo as I would get as excited signing Alexander Isak. The numbers that the player puts up in the Champions League for Real Madrid whilst playing out of position and having to accommodate for other players is scintillating. Just imagine what he could do if he had a settled position in a settled home and where the team and the starting 11 was built around his qualities. Yeah, you're talking being able to compete for the Ballon d'Or, in my opinion. Morning, Rodrygo. Any update on centre back? Are we still in for Guehi or another centre back? We need a backup, but regardless, what a transfer window so far. Damn right, it's been an unbelievable transfer window so far. And yes, we are 100% in for a centre half. Marc Guehi still remains Liverpool's first choice to replace Jarell Quansah, whilst also having an interest in bringing in a young centre half as well. Maybe one that could come in and then go on loan for a season. Or one that could come in and play youth team whilst also, obviously playing for the first team. So I would keep an eye on that. CJ says Rodrygo wouldn't do well in the Prem, in my opinion. He would be getting volleyed everywhere. Mate, Rodrygo is performing on literally the highest stage of the Champions League. You know, every time he's played against an English team, he's scored or assisted. If you remember the game at Anfield a few years ago, he gave us the runaround. He's absolutely took the mick out of Manchester City and Chelsea on a few occasions in the Champions League. Rodrygo would tear up the Premier League. The Premier League would not be ready for the player of Rodrygo. Exactly. Rodgers is posting those whilst mostly playing out of position. Exactly, You know, he's had to accommodate in his time at Real Madrid for Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, carrying Benzema. There, there is so much about Rodrygo, which is quality, and then the context of the situation is also mad of the fact that he's just never actually got his preferred position. And if you look at his numbers, when he plays left wing, scintillating stuff, when he plays left wing. I'm sick of hearing Isak's name. Imagine Newcastle fans. I'm not. As long as it's open to him coming Liverpool, you can keep talking about Isak for all I care. But yeah, that's our little recap. That's our news done for today. Before we end in the next 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I want to open it up to the chat. So if you guys have got anything you want to talk about, then put it in the chat now. There was a comment before where it was about what would your front three be if the hypothetical signed. If it was me, it would be Salah on the right, Alexander Isak up front, and Rodrygo on the left. Would yours be any different? CJ says, not a good idea signing him anyway, considering he's been quoted in love with Real Madrid. So imagine if he joined us only because he got forced out. That's sort of football, that though, CJ. Do you know what I mean? It happens. Harvey Elliott is being forced out of Liverpool slightly by us putting him up for sale. We're not throwing him through the door, and neither are Real Madrid. But you know, a move is an option to better your career. There's not a chance in hell Harvey Elliott goes to another club and drops performances because he's still in love with Liverpool. The same way that Rodrygo wouldn't leave Real Madrid and then drop performances for Liverpool because he supports Real Madrid. He's got his own career to focus on, his own ambitions and levels that he'll want to achieve, whilst also wanting to be a starter for Brazil. And the only way he's a starter for Brazil is if he's playing week in, week out, getting goals and assists. Says, me too, mate. I love Lucho, but this contract situation is an issue. Yeah, I mean, 2 years left, so can still hold obviously a high value. Liverpool have no interest in renewing it, which I completely understand because his next contract would be a very, very high wage packet, and you're talking a 30-year-old. You know, when that new deal would come, don't see it. Do not see it personally. Ekitike won't play off the left if Isak comes in. Gakpo's better there. Yeah, I think it'd be Isak and Ekitike sharing minutes in both Premier League, Champions League, probably League Cup and FA Cup as well. CJ says, I think Rodrygo will end up at Saudi. It's definitely a possibility. Buffalo says, yeah, it seems forced to get rid of Elliott, a goal scorer. I'd have him instead of Jones. I personally wouldn't have him instead of Jones. I really rate Curtis Jones, but I do think it is interesting, especially now that it appears Liverpool are going to be setting up with a more 4-2-3-1 situation. As you would imagine that Harvey Elliott would be, more influential in that natural number 10 position. We've got preseason coming up where he's going to get games, so who knows? But yeah, I don't think he's got the physical capabilities, to be honest, of playing. Remember to like and subscribe, guys, if you haven't already. Only 20 oh, is it 26 now? 26 new subscribers before we can hit that magic first K. That would be incredible. Go on, get on it. Get on it. Be part of the history of Talking Reds as we reach 1K. Elliott isn't being forced out. It's literally up to him. what he does. He said that in an interview. Well, of course, it's up to him what he does because he's got a contract with Liverpool. It's the same way that Rodrygo is forced. It's up to him what he does. As I said, nobody is being forced out, but the club are putting them in a situation where they know they're not going to play, and they're telling them that you should probably go and explore the move. That's as close as being forced out as you can get without actually forcing somebody out by terminating their contract. Saying you're not wanted anymore and your minutes are going to be limited is a clear message. Daniel says just bid 150 million for Isak. If they turn that down, they are mad. The reason the bid hasn't gone in for Alexander Isak so far is because Liverpool have got to be extremely respectful. Yeah, we've got to be really, really, really respectful in this situation. Liverpool know Alexander Isak is interested in the move, right? We understand that. That isn't an issue. Turning his head or whatever you want to frame it as, that's not the issue. The issue is getting Newcastle to do fair dealings and see light of day in letting their player leave. If Liverpool go in with bids and it's seen as being disrespectful because Newcastle haven't opened up for the bid, or is it seen as trying to unsettle the player, then you can write off any kind of negotiations this summer. Liverpool are playing this a really, really smart way. They've got a striker in, so we're sorted in that department, and they've got their number one target in Alexander Isak wanting the club. Now you sit back and you go, look, Newcastle, if you want to deal, we're here. We will pay this amount of money. We'll go close to your asking price. If you want us to come and bid, we will do it. If you don't want us to do that and you don't want us to put extra pressure on you in the media whilst you're having to deal with your own issues, absolutely fine. We'll wait till another time. The more respectful Liverpool are in business, the better chances they've got of building relationships with clubs and agents and making deals happen. Daniel says his head is turned. It's been turned since last summer. Well, last summer, Isak and his agent spoke to Barcelona, didn't they? And now, obviously, Liverpool have come up to the table as well for him. It's clear as day his head's been turned, 100%. Derek says they might have a cob on over Ekitike. Well, that's where Liverpool have, that's what we're saying. We're being respectful. Liverpool have still got to do their business. It's still an industry where you've got to compete against each other. That doesn't stop the world, you know what I mean? And ultimately Newcastle need, they need a cash injection. So they're not going to go and get a cob on over Ekitike if it means leaving out on 140, 150 million. CJ asks, his head has been turned. I think that's pretty clear. I think that's obvious. Eddie Howe's comments basically alluded to it without saying it. Leaving the player at home. Everyone else went, even the injured players, but he stayed at home. Said he weren't in the right headspace. Said he spoke to the player. He appreciates that a player's career is short, which obviously is indicating to that Alexander Isak's probably said, look, I've got this chance and I want the move. There's reports as well that he's not in training at the moment. Yeah, I think Alexander Isak's head is elsewhere. It'll quickly switch back on when the season starts if he's still playing for Newcastle. But right now, I think his head's been turned. Daniel says, I hate Villa because of the last day. Hey, look, don't hate Villa. It weren't Villa's fault. It was the referee's fault that they lost to Man United. CJ says, not necessarily. They might be sorting a new contract out, but you never know. I'd be surprised. He's got 3 years left on his deal. He's already Newcastle's highest paid player. If he was to sign any new deal with Newcastle, I would highly suspect that it'd have some kind of gentleman's agreement, or even a potential, written buyout clause. There's not a chance Alexander Isak commits his future to Newcastle whilst the biggest clubs in the world are after him. Where would Isak be if Villa beat United and got Champions League? Well, it'd definitely be an easier deal to do. As one, they wouldn't have the cash injection of Champions League money for PSR, but two, they'd also be an easier sell to their fans to be able to say, look, you know, obviously Alexander Isak desires to play in the Champions League and deserves it. So, you know, we're dealing with a Champions League club. But yeah, a very, very interesting morning, if I do say so myself. Same again, guys. 52 of you in here, which is incredible. Please don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Hit likes on the stream, as it helps us boost out and build the community of Talking Reds. As always, I have been your host, Ryan. And just before we go, it's a shame you've come in so late, Jen, because we're about to leave. But yeah, good morning, Jen. Really big supporter of the channel. Similar to you guys, who've been chatting all morning, always in. Always in the streams, always supporting, always commenting. So we really, really appreciate it, as always. You guys have been fantastic for me for my first morning show, so I really, really, really appreciate it. Make sure you're back for the afternoon show or the evening shows that'll be coming, because there is Liverpool news coming your way 100%. I'm telling you now, my theory is correct. The journalists are all sat on something, and they're just waiting for something to happen so they get the go-ahead to release it. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. Feel it in my plums. And of course, rest in peace, Joey Jones, 2 times European Cup winner, passed away. I think was it this morning or last night? So yeah, RIP to Joey. John's just got back from the dog walk. Well, I hope you had a nice dog walk, Jen, and hopefully we're taking Newcastle for a dog walk soon, as we bring their superstar striker over to Anfield, eh? But yeah, thank you very much, guys. Remember to like and subscribe on your way out and support Talking Reds. Thank you very much. I shall see you all in the next